Mountain lions. You've probably seen the video. Some guy, for reasons known only to him and maybe his therapist, decides to crawl headfirst into a dark, narrow cave opening. He gets about 12 feet in, the camera is shaky, and then a low growl. The camera pans up and you see it. A full-grown mountain lion, just a few feet away, staring back at him with a look that says, "Dude, really?" The guy, to his credit, backs out slowly and the video ends. It's a funny, terrifying, and frankly idiotic encounter. But it's also the perfect illustration of how you can accidentally stumble into the living room of one of North America's most efficient predators. Mountain lions, also known as cougars or pumas, love caves. They are the perfect den, cool, dark, and with a great view of the surrounding area to spot prey. And if you crawl into one, you're not a guest, you're an intruder. A mountain lion is a powerhouse of muscle and instinct. They can leap 40 feet horizontally and 15 feet vertically. Their bite force is around 400 psi, which is more than enough to crush a human windpipe. And they are ambush predators. They will stalk their prey for miles, waiting for the perfect moment to attack from behind, aiming for the neck. The good news? They almost never attack humans. In the last 100 years, there have been fewer than 30 fatal mountain lion attacks in all of North America. The bad news? If you meet one in a cave, you've just rolled the worst possible dice. So, what do you do when you find yourself in a subterranean staring contest with a 150-pound cat? First, whatever you do not run. Running triggers their prey drive. It's like yelling, "Tag, you're it!" to a creature that can outrun you, outjump you, and outclimb you. Second, make yourself look big. Open your jacket, raise your arms, and stand your ground. You want to look like a threat, not a meal. Third, make noise. Yell, shout, and be as obnoxious as possible. Mountain lions are solitary and secretive. They don't like a confrontation. If it does attack, you have to fight back. Aim for the eyes and face. Use rocks, sticks, your backpack, anything you can to inflict pain. People have successfully fought off mountain lions with nothing more than a water bottle. The goal is to convince the cat that you are not worth the injury. Bears. Imagine you're squeezing through a passage, your headlamp cutting a small circle in the absolute darkness. You hear a sound. It's not dripping water, it's breathing. You pan your light over and see a wall of black fur. You've just stumbled into the winter home of a black bear. Congratulations, you are now in a very, very small room with a very, very large problem. Now, you might be thinking, bears hibernate, right? And you'd be mostly right, but they can wake up cranky. So, how do you avoid becoming an involuntary roommate to a very angry bear? First, look for signs before you enter a cave, especially in winter. Bear scat? Claw marks? A smell like wet dog and death? Yeah, that's your cue to go somewhere else. Make noise before you go in. Clap, sing, whatever. You want the bear to know you're coming, so it has time to leave. Let's say you ignored that, and now you're face to face with a bear. Do not run. You are a fleshy, slow-moving appetizer. Instead, make yourself look big. Raise your arms, open your jacket, and yell at it. "Hey, get out of here, you big freeloader." Black bears are basically giant raccoons. They can be scared off. If it charges, you have to fight back. Punch it in the nose, go for the eyes, use a rock, a trekking pole, whatever you've got. This isn't a grizzly. You can win this. On December 20th, 2015, a Boy Scout leader named Christopher Petronino was dragged into a New Jersey cave by a bear. For 80 minutes, it bit his legs and shoulders. How did he survive? He hit it twice in the head with a rock hammer. Then, he curled into a ball and the bear eventually got lured out by some snacks the kids left. So, the moral of the story? Always carry a hammer. And maybe some trail mix for the bear. Snakes. You're deep in a cave, squeezing through a tight passage. You put your hand on a rock to steady yourself, but the rock moves, and then it rattles. You've just made a terrible, terrible mistake. What do you do? First, freeze. Do not move a muscle. A snake's strike is one of the fastest movements in the animal kingdom, with some vipers striking at over 100 miles per hour, 160 kilometers per hour. You will not dodge it. Any sudden movement will be seen as a threat. Second, slowly back away. Give the snake an escape route. The last thing you want is a cornered, terrified, venomous reptile in a space the size of a coffin. Third, if it bites you, stay calm. Yeah, I know, easy for me to say, but panicking increases your heart rate and spreads the venom faster. Keep the bite below your heart, remove any tight clothing or jewelry, and get to a hospital. You have about 30 minutes to get antivenom before things get really, really bad. Think that sounds intense? Now imagine it happening with not one, but two snakes. In Oklahoma, a man was exploring a cave when he was bitten by a pygmy rattlesnake. As he recoiled in pain, he was struck again by the same snake. And then a second snake, hidden nearby, bit him twice more. 4 bites in a matter of seconds. He called it a miracle that he survived. That's because a cave isn't just a home for one snake. It can be a hibernaculum, a reptilian apartment complex where hundreds of snakes spend the winter. The venom itself is a horrifying cocktail of neurotoxins and hemotoxins, designed to paralyze you and literally digest you from the inside out. And in the dark, confined spaces of a cave, your chances of survival plummet. It's hard to see the snake, it's hard to get away, and it's even harder for rescuers to get to you. National Geographic once documented a place they called Snake Palace Cave, where the explorers' screams of pain were the main soundtrack. So, how do you actually survive? By not getting bitten in the first place. Never, ever put your hands or feet where you can't see. Use a trekking pole or a stick to probe ahead of you. Shine your light into every crevice before you reach into it. And if you hear that telltale rattle, it's not a friendly greeting. It's the sound of a very small, very angry dragon telling you to get the hell out of its house. Scorpions. A group of friends were exploring a series of riverside caves in the Grand Canyon. One woman, feeling for a handhold on a damp rock wall inside one of the caves, felt a sudden electric shock of pain in her hand. She'd just been stung by an Arizona bark scorpion. At first, she wasn't too worried. A scorpion sting, right? It hurts, but it's not a big deal. But within an hour, her vision started to blur. Her tongue went numb, and she couldn't speak clearly. Her muscles began to twitch uncontrollably. She was experiencing the full effect of a potent neurotoxin, deep inside a cave, miles from civilization, with no easy way to get help. Her friends had to race against time, strapping her to a makeshift stretcher and carrying her out of the cave system to a point where a rescue helicopter could finally reach her. This is the reality of the Arizona bark scorpion. It's not some big, clumsy monster. It's a tiny, 2-inch long nightmare that loves to hang upside down in dark, damp crevices, exactly where you're putting your hands. Its venom is designed to incapacitate its prey, and while it's rarely fatal to a healthy adult, it can cause excruciating pain, numbness, and severe muscle spasms. It's basically a tiny, 8-legged taser with a bad attitude. So, how do you survive? First, Be aware of your surroundings. These scorpions are common in the American Southwest, and they love the cool, damp environment of caves and canyons. Never put your hands or feet where you can't see. Use a stick to probe dark corners. And if you're camping near a cave system, shake out your boots and clothes before you put them on. If you do get stung, the most important thing is to stay calm. Panicking will only spread the venom faster. Get to a hospital as soon as you can for anti-venom. And try not to bite your own tongue off during the convulsions. Think of it as the cave's very aggressive, very personal security system. Crocodiles. Cave diving in a cenote in the Yucatan Peninsula, admiring the stalactites in the crystal clear water. You swim past what looks like a log nestled in the shadows, but then the log blinks. You've just met a Morlae's crocodile, an 80-million-year-old ambush predator. It can hold its breath for over an hour, waiting motionless. Its jaw is a nightmare, capable of delivering over 3,700 psi of force, enough to snap your femur like a twig. So, what do? Your brain is screaming to swim away. That is the single worst thing you can do. A crocodile can swim at nearly 20 miles per hour, 32 kilometers per hour. You can't outrun it. Frantic splashing is just a dinner bell. Your only chance is to suppress every instinct. Stay calm, face the animal, and slowly back away. You are communicating that you are not prey, just a weird, bubble-blowing creature that is leaving. If it attacks anyway, you have one primary target, the eyes. A crocodile's eyes are surprisingly vulnerable. Use your dive knife, your camera, a rock, anything you can to strike at them. If it grabs you and begins its infamous death roll, you have to go with it. Roll with the animal to prevent your limbs from being torn from their sockets. The goal is to be the most difficult, annoying, and painful meal it has ever tried to eat. The key to survival isn't strength or speed, it's knowledge. Know the signs, respect the animal, and have a plan for when that log in the corner of your eye suddenly blinks. Bats. In May of 2025, a family of 12 went on a tour of the Venado Caves in Costa Rica. They marveled at the thousands of bats, took photos, and went home. 3 weeks later, they were all in the hospital with a severe lung infection called histoplasmosis. They hadn't been bitten or scratched. They had been attacked by the air they breathed. It's not the bats. It's their poop. Bat guano is the perfect breeding ground for a fungus called Histoplasma capsulatum. When you walk on it, it releases millions of microscopic, lung-destroying spores into the air. A single bat colony can produce 25 tons of guano a year. You're not walking into a cave, you're walking into a biological time bomb. So how do you survive? Wear a proper N95 or P100 respirator. If the cave floor looks like it's been paved with chocolate sprinkles and smells like ammonia, that's your sign to minimize your time there. The symptoms don't show up for 1 to 3 weeks, so if you get flu-like symptoms after a cave trip, get to a doctor immediately and tell them where you've been. It could save your life. Jaguars. We've talked about bears, crocodiles, and snakes. We've given you tips and strategies. Now, it's time to throw all of that out the window. Welcome to the final boss of cave survival, the jaguar. If you find yourself face to face with a jaguar in a cave, there is no survival guide. A jaguar's bite force is, pound for pound, the strongest of any big cat, 1,500 psi. They don't bite the neck. They have a signature move. They bite through the skull. They hunt and kill caimans, literal armored dinosaurs, by crushing their skulls like grapes. Your head, by comparison, is a soft-boiled egg. In Belize, there's a place called Actun Tunichil Muknal, a sacred Mayan cave where they performed human sacrifices. It's also a known jaguar habitat. Imagine being in a place literally called the Cave of the Crystal Sepulchre, surrounded by skeletons, and then you see the two glowing eyes of a jaguar in the darkness. There is no winning that scenario. In a cave, you have no room to run, no room to hide, and no room to negotiate. So, what is the actual survival strategy? It's simple. You see a sign that says Jaguar Country, you turn around. You hear a local say, "Oh yeah, the big cats live in those caves." You go to the beach. The only way to survive a jaguar in a cave is to never, ever be in a cave with a jaguar. Sometimes, the only winning move is not to play.